Yeah, so I think, and this has been an issue in both Marvel and DC for a long time, is there's a fine line to walk between being true to the comics and making the film mainstream enough that people who have no connection to the comics can view it. Um, yeah, and then yeah, the third act, yeah, it's a big issue because it's hard when you have a movie with these ultra powerful beings. Like in every movie, the villain has to be more powerful, the destruction has to be greater, blah blah blah. And it's hard when you've already addressed the destruction that one character has caused, and then that's been a whole conflict in a movie, and then the next movie they're blowing up another city again or the same city again. Um, so there's an issue with that. And I think okay, so I will say this: I think they developed Lex Luthor's motivations for bringing Batman and Superman together enough for the film to work. I would have liked it to have been explored more. Would have been more satisfied with that. I think the other thing that they weren't really clear on. So everything. So they were clear enough from the beginning, from when he's pitting them against each other, when he's like dropping some clues. He's bringing Superman to save Lois Lane. He's getting the kryptonite. They explored that a little bit more, and like it made a lot more sense why he wanted it. And you're kind of like linking to the dramatic irony of him having this and Superman being all powerful at the moment, but it's going to happen later. And you're just wondering how he's going to use that. And then also you get to the one thing that I felt they lost me at was when they went from Lex Luthor pitting them Batman versus Superman to all of a sudden trying to create and control this monster and diving into Kryptonian lore and understanding all of this. And he's in the ship and he knows all the commands and he knows this. And I get that he's a smart person. And I get that in the very base, his intent is to, obviously he sees in the event that Batman versus Superman doesn't end the way he wants it to, he will create this, I think, was it Darkseid? Is that what he creates? Or
Doomsday.
Doomsday, yeah, Doomsday. He wants to create this ultimate monster to be able to defeat, he's the anti-Superman in the case that the Batman vs Superman brawl doesn't turn out in his favor. However, Doomsday is a very critical role, and I've read enough of various comics to kind of understand his role in the comics and in Batman's kind of trajectory. However, Lex Luthor doesn't read comics, and so he has this interesting, weird background knowledge of both Kryptonian lore and Kryptonian blah blah blah. And I get that maybe he's investigated the ship that's in the ice somewhere, and he's done this and he's done that, but they kind of lost me when he was creating this Kryptonian monster using Kryptonian rituals and blah blah. It's one thing if he like hacks into a computer and is doing computer stuff because he's a computer guy, but it's another thing when all of a sudden he's on an alien spaceship talking to aliens and using alien technology to create almost like a spiritual ritual, with this religion that he doesn't know. Okay, yes, he does tell shit to teach me, but yes, and like you said, it's much of a cop out. I don't know, it just that extra step, and it's one thing, and it's probably interesting because they probably had to walk the line between being too heavy-handed and explaining who Darkseid was or explaining who Doomsday was, and explaining the meaning behind that and what it means and how evil the ritual was and the creation and how many laws he's breaking, both moral and actual laws of the Kryptonian society. But I think that step is where Lex Luthor, I didn't understand his motivations for doing so. Besides obviously the basic motivations for being Superman, I didn't understand his knowledge of the ship, and I don't know. It felt weird, and that kind of impacted the third act. And then it was just confusing. And then Wonder Woman was there, and it really fell apart in the last 30 minutes, in my opinion. I think I loved the funeral scene. I loved kind of what they did at the end. I hated Bruce Wayne's line about like we have to find more like us or like whatever. Like obviously they're setting it up and they have to do a little bit for the setting up the universe. But Lex Luthor and Wonder Woman and Doomsday in the third act were very confusing and slightly disappointing.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what I just clicked right there. Yeah, I think that's actually hilarious, and you can see the divide between like whether or not you handicap the film because you find it more enjoyable, or whether or not you like you prefer to have a well-produced film, because here with seeing like the original, I don't know if you guys have seen it, like the Doomsday animated film where Superman gets killed by Doomsday, um, and he's resurrected in the film, and they like cover everything in this one film. Um, Doomsday was kind of just like adding him into this film was like, literally just patting me on the back. Like yes, like this is exciting. So that's I actually enjoy the third act, but that's because movies like this, I'm able to suspend judgment and just watch it. Uh, but Austin, do you have any thoughts on the ending? And do you agree with Spencer?
Yeah, I have thoughts. Um, I think Spencer's criticisms are totally accurate and like fair, everything. I just don't agree because I am I'm the latter fan you talked about where okay, here's the deal with this movie. It is a big, beautiful mess of a movie. And it is like two films that they just went and just like combined them with like the loosest of stitching somewhere in the middle. Um, and for me, I the reason I love it so much is because I get that interesting story, that investigative, like sort of mystery thriller element in the beginning of the movie, and then my payoff for that is my big bombastic superhero action in the finale. And the reason I like it so much too is because it is very much Snyder's vision of superhero action, which is uh, like on a mythic scale, right? Like it's colossal, and that's what's so entertaining about it for me. And that's what I loved about Man of Steel is he directs these like they're called metahumans in this universe, but he directs their action as if they're like so somebody once compared it online to like the closest we're ever going to get to a good live action Dragon Ball Z movie because they move like they just move so quickly and every punch throws off like a shockwave, and it's just so gratuitous. But that's what I love, and it comes together in this big, beautiful visual feast for the eyes and the ears, and it's just pure entertainment. And that's what I think is so great about it. Also, it helps that it's accompanied by Hans Zimmer's most bombastic score that he's ever done. I mean, he's just going off the rails with this thing. It's kind of fantastic. And it's just a logical follow up to his Man of Steel score, which was also bombastic.